Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel English Literature. Today we are going to talk about Sudha Murty's another novel Mahashweta. We have already talked about Gently Falls the Gokula, and it is the second novel that I admire most after Gently Falls the Gokula. Again we find a strong women voice, powerful, dignified and innovative. This novel is a pamphlet against the social stigma of Leucoderma. Sudha Murty is an Indian author, philanthropist and social worker. She was born on August 19, 1950 in Chigaon, a small town in the Indian state of Karnataka. Murty is the chairperson of the Infosys Foundation, the philanthropic arm of the Indian software giant Infosys. Through the foundation, she has undertaken several initiatives in the areas of education, healthcare, rural development, and the arts. Her contributions have had a significant impact on the lives of many people in India, particularly in rural areas. And apart from this philanthropic work, she is best known as an author, a prolific author. And she is spontaneous. She is going on writing spontaneously. Every now and then you will find new books in Kindle and other platforms. For children, for adults, for everyone she is writing. And in her writing you will find the characters are drawn from the soil, from the surroundings that we live in and where we belong. You can relate yourself with her writing, her characters. She received numerous accolades like Arkanarayan's Award for Literature and other awards. Okay, you can go through this introduction to know more about her. Now we'll talk about the book. Mahashweta is another gem of Sudha Murty that capitulates to the social blindness towards one who suffered from leucoderma. So this novel is concerned with the social curse of leucoderma, and the central figure is Anupama. Anupama, the epitome of beauty, after her marriage found herself in that state when everyone abandoned her, even her husband, and when society, including her husband, shunned her. She turned her life in a direction, to a height where she can live on her own accord with dignity and self-respect. Okay, now we learn the life of Anupama. How, after being shunned from everyone, she turned her life to a new direction, to a new hope. Love is not a commodity that you can buy after putting it to the test. Yeah. This line reminds something Indian mythology. This line should be put in the mouth of whom? Sita. Sita. This line is appropriate for Anupama. This line is appropriate for Sita. Love is not a commodity that you can buy after putting it to the test. If you read this novel, you will find there are so many lines that just remain engrafted in your heart forever. Anupama is the heroine or the protagonist of this novel. The book is named after her actress role, that is her actress role in the Sanskrit play Mahashweta. She used to play this character Mahashweta. Being a scholar of Sanskrit, she used to act, direct and translate Sanskrit plays. And one such famous and popular play is Mahashweta, that she was preparing for the stage in Dr. Desai's house. When the novel starts, we found Mahashweta, Dr. Desai's house. She was practicing the drama scene. There she met Dr. Anand. They both were the epitome of beauty and intelligence. Dr. Anand is a very handsome guy. And on the other hand, Anupama is very beautiful, epitome of beauty. They both were epitome of beauty and as well as intelligence. But Anupama was poor and Anand was rich with an arrogant snobbish mother. Now Anand fell in love with Anupama and they had a fairy tale marriage. But the usual line of the fairy tale, they will live happily ever after. This did not prove correct for them. After the marriage, Anand left for England to pursue her studies. Anupama lived with her mother-in-law. One day she discovered a white patch on her feet and got devastated. Secretly, she consulted a doctor, but her cruel mother-in-law came to know that. She got the chance to throw her away from the house, blaming her conspiracy. Now, this is the character Radhaka. Radhaka is the mother-in-law of Anupama. And Radhaka did not approve this poor girl in her family. But when Radhaka finds that her son is in love with Anupama, she did not disagree because she feared that maybe Anand maybe she had to lose Anand. In that fear, maybe she might be offended Anand. Anand might get offended by her behavior if she did not agree in this marriage. So from that fear, Radhaka actually agreed in that marriage. But Radhaka never approved this match. Again, Anupama had her stepmother in the house. She was always mentally tortured and always had to suffer terrible mental hazard by that stepmother. So Anupama has nothing to do with her fate. Now Radhaka gets the chance to disapprove something. Radhaka gets her point to disapprove. She wrote to her son in England that Anupama intentionally married him, hiding her virulent disease, that is Leucoderma. So, but Anupama was totally, Anupama did not know about that. And even before her marriage, she never finds such things. Radhaka know that. Radhaka was well aware of that. But she plays that trick. So Anupama was sacked from the house. And even Anand, who was the worshipper of beauty, became afraid. Anand married Anupama just for her beauty. So if the beauty got spoiled, then what is the need of Anupama? Anupama hoped that her husband would support her, but that did not happen. So here you can find, I just made some pictures to understand the point. This is Radhaka. This is Girija, Anand's sister. She's a spoiled girl. This is Dr. Anand and this is Anupama. Anupama's husband abandoned her because of her marred beauty. The white scar was no great pain to her in comparison with the betrayal of Anand. Anupama felt betrayed. What can be more humiliating than the realization that Anand married her only for her beauty, and when the flag of beauty stood at stake, he retracted and abandoned his beloved one? He never loved her. So Anand never loved Anupama. This realization devastated Anupama. She had finally discovered that real Anand. He had loved her beauty and married her for it. He was not really ready to accept her if her beauty was in any way marred. So worshipping beauty or finding someone beautiful and getting attracted to her or him is not love. Love is something more than that. Despised by everyone, she was pushed into fatal loneliness and helplessness to the extent that she contemplated suicide. Anupama always acted in plays with a happy ending. But in her life, she had rendezvous with tragedy. But then she turned back. And this is the epiphany. This is the positive embrace. And this is the most beautiful and strong part of this novel. Why should she die for a husband who did not even care about her? She moved to Mumbai and started her new struggle. After many ups and downs in her life, she went back to her passion, literature. She earned money, fame, and confidence, which led to her independence. So, this is the story of independence also. Anand realized his blunder and became repentant, but it was too late. It was like the coming of the rains after the grass has dried. There are so beautiful similes in this novel. Anand asked for forgiveness and pleaded to reunite, but Anupama replied, beautiful line, how can you possibly expect a barn seed to grow into a tree? Husband, children, affection, love, they are all irrelevant to me now. How can you possibly expect a barn seed to grow into a tree? So Anupama is a barn seed now. You cannot expect anything from her. That affection, that feeling. But one happy as well as sad thing was that Anupama met her soulmate. Her true love. Her Pundarika. That she searched for her life. Dr. Basant. He loved her and wished to marry her, even after he knew about her disease. So Dr. Basant is a very, very honest and generous person. But Anupama did not agree to marry him. Refused him as he did not want any complication in the life. She was already devastated once. Then Dr. Basant realized, oh God, if only I had known her before her husband ruined her life, I would not have lost this priceless jewel. Basant was disappointed and sad. The novel ends with the planning for another drama with one of Anupama's students, Binuta, who suggests Mahashweta, and Anupama recites the famous lines from the play. Like Rohini to Chandra, like Lakshmi to Narayana, am I to him, just as the creeper depends on a tree, I depend on him. And Anupama realized Basant, like Pundarika, would be separate from Mahashweta forever. But anyway, the coming of Basant in Anupama's life is like a blessing. At last she found a pure, true love in her life. Even she cannot accept that love, but she finds it. That's enough. Change is the only thing that never changes. Anupama's beauty faded as she got Leucoderma. It will be not leukemia, it will be Leucoderma. Anupama possessed barely anything to live a life. But later in her life, through her education and intelligence, she gained everything. Sabakka, who always ill-treated Anupama, had to depend on her earning. Who is Sabakka? Sabakka is Anupama's stepmother. So everything changed. Time taught Anand a great lesson. So it will be Leucoderma. Leukemia actually is blood forming is cancerous disease. Sorry for the mistake. Now, change is the key factor of this novel. Now we'll have a look at the major characters. Anupama, she is the protagonist of this novel. We have already learned about her. Next is Anand. She is a budding doctor who fell in love with Anupama. Radhakka, Anupama's mother-in-law. Girija, Anupama's sister-in-law. Samana, she is Anupama's father, who always acted helpless before his fate. Sabakka, Anupama's stepmother. Sumitra, Anupama's friend, who gave Anupama shelter when Anupama was in Mumbai. Hari, Sumitra's husband, who tried to molest Anupama. Basant, Anupama's friend, who loved and adored her in the real sense. He proposed to marry her even after knowing everything. He felt sad when Anupama refused. Shatto, he was Dr. Basant's colleague who had a close bonding with Anupama. The plot and language are very simple and flowing. The ups and downs of Anupama's life are presented with utmost sincerity without any ornate exhibition of flowery verbose. Anupama is an ordinary simple girl with unparalleled beauty and knowledge. Mahashweta. Who is Mahashweta? Mahashweta means goddess Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. Anupama, the protagonist of this novel, is a Sanskrit erudite, fluent in her recitation and acts of Sanskrit plays with minute excellency. Anupama, in that courage, that inner strength that can provide the spirit of resurrection to the inflicted women of the society. So Anupama is Mahashweta. Anupama is the epitome of everything, the courage, the inner strength. She realized that her husband loved her as a Mahashweta, not as a real life Anupama. But when in real life I developed this white patch and became a real Mahashweta, the white one, he could not handle it. Now another aspect of this novel, that is cultural hegemony. Anupama was shunned and abandoned only because of one white patch. On the other hand, Girija, her sister-in-law, who had had a sordid affair before her marriage, was held in high esteem in society and at home because she is from a rich family. So this cultural hegemony of rich, though corrupted, though whatever, always live in high esteem, but poor are always made more a thing of dejection and depression. They are always exploited, they are always shunned, thrown into abuse. The real picture of our society is shown through this novel. One who has money and power can pass every offense with a clean sheet, but the poor and helpless are tagged with blames. So you can read this novel as from that. This novel shows us the importance of women's education. That Anupama's education helps Anupama to relive her life. Anupama was an educated woman, and her education saves her. She was daughter of a poor schoolmaster, but she never stopped her love for education. And in this society where women are always suppressed, women are always presented as second sex, women need education to establish herself. With financial independence, Anupama's confidence began to blossom. She used her education as her empowerment. So education of women is synonymous with the empowerment of women. So the importance and value of women education is reinforced in this novel by Sudha Murty. Sumi, I do not want money from someone who does not love me. God will provide for me. I have my education and it will serve to feed me. So otherwise Anupama had no education. Anupama could not survive her life. Marriage, institutionalized slavery and humiliation. So marriage is a structural societal form. It is, you can say, institutionalized slavery and humiliation of women. In our society, marriage is shown as the only destination of women's life. Without a husband, a woman has no value. Even an educated girl like Anupama, who kept herself busy enacting Sanskrit plays on stages and fundraising programs for the poor, was bound to marry Anand. But she wished to be settled in her life. She wished to carry forward her education. But her education, her ambition, her competency has no value except she has no husband. So she was forced to marry Anand. He believed that a woman's ultimate sanctuary should be her in-laws' house. Single women were not respected in society. But one day Anupama became strong enough to come out of the shackle. She had removed her Mangal Sutra. It had weighed down on her heavily. Now the best quotes of this line, I just put some quotes. Repeated success makes a person arrogant, while occasional failure makes an individual more mature. Beautiful line. Wise line. When two men can be friends and two women can be friends, surely a man and a woman can also be just friends. Please remember that saying the right thing at the right time is what makes a conversation meaningful. These lines are so intellectual, so erudite. A language is a tool we use to express ourselves. It is what differentiates us from animals. It is better to understand the vicissitudes of life and solve own problems in the makes a person arrogant. While occasional failure makes an individual more mature. It is, I think, this line, the first one, told in a different way. Anupama is the protagonist of this novel who takes her doughty decision to fight her life against all the adversities of life. She is Mahashweta, the power that kindles every soul to soar high above the mundane prejudices and shortcomings. And you find here a character development. Her character develops. Her character develops from a simple girl, immature simple girl, a common girl, to a mature woman who faced the cruel faces of life. Every woman should think in this way without taking marriage as the only way to emancipation. It is better to concentrate on things that give me confidence and happiness. Okay. So you must go through the novel. I am sure that you will love it. Thank you.